Your phone buzzes. It's a number you don't recognize, and before you can think, your stomach drops. Not a little, like existential dread levels. You stare at the screen, you watch it ring, you do not pick up. Then it stops, and you feel relief, immediately followed by the guilt of knowing you're going to have to call them back eventually. And here's the fun part. It doesn't matter who it is. It can be your dentist's office. It can be your best friend of 15 years. It can be someone you actually like. The moment the call starts, something in you braces. You lose your train of thought. You say, uh-huh, to things you're not sure you agreed to. You hang up and immediately replay the whole conversation to check if you embarrassed yourself. And then you think, what is wrong with me? I'm a functioning adult. I can give a presentation. I can argue a point at a dinner table, but a 10-minute phone call with my insurance company sends me into fight or flight? You are not broken. Somewhere between 2.5 and 5% of the population meets the clinical threshold for telephobia, and researchers believe the actual number is significantly higher because most people never mention it. They just avoid calling. I once spent 3 weeks rescheduling a dentist appointment I didn't even dread going to, purely to avoid making the booking call. I genuinely told myself I'd get to it tomorrow for 21 days. The brain is a very persuasive narrator. We're not here to diagnose you. We're here to understand exactly how your brain is trying to protect you and why that protection looks like panic. And it starts with something your brain does in the first 3 seconds of every call. Here's the core problem. Humans are visual creatures. Roughly 55 to 65% of what we read in a conversation comes from facial expressions, eye contact, and body language, not words. A phone call strips all of that away. The second a call connects, your brain enters what researchers call a sensory deprivation loop. It's looking for visual data. It finds nothing. And a brain that can't find data doesn't stay calm. It starts making things up. That slight pause before the other person answers, your brain fills it with worst-case assumptions. They sound distant? Must be annoyance. Their tone is neutral? Definitely hostile. This isn't irrational. It's your threat detection system doing exactly what it was built to do. In the absence of information, assume danger. The second mechanism is real-time performance pressure. Unlike texting, there's no backspace button on a phone call, no time to reread what you said, no emoji to soften the edge of an awkward sentence. You are live, unedited, and unprotected. For people with any perfectionist wiring, and especially for the former gifted kids in the room who grew up equating smart with articulate, this is genuinely threatening. The fear isn't just saying the wrong thing, it's that the wrong thing will define how you're perceived permanently. And then there's what psychologists call the next in line effect. When you're anxious on a call, part of your brain is so busy rehearsing what you're about to say next that it stops fully processing what the other person is actually saying, which makes you more likely to miss something, stumble, pause at the wrong moment, which makes you more anxious. Classic feedback loop. 3 mechanisms, 1 outcome. Your brain treats a routine call like an unpredictable social exam with no answer key. Now let's look at how this plays out in your regular Tuesday. Stage 1, the avoidance spiral. It's 9 a.m. You have to call to reschedule something. You open your phone. You think, I'll do it after coffee. After coffee, I'll do it when I'm more focused. By 4 p.m., honestly, they're probably about to close. I'll just do it tomorrow. What your brain is doing, running a cost-benefit analysis. The emotional cost of the call, the anticipatory anxiety, the performance pressure, the possible awkward silence, is being weighed against the reward of completing the task. And right now, the cost is winning. Your brain is not being lazy, it's being efficient. It found a pattern. Avoiding the call makes the feeling stop, and it's running that pattern automatically. The problem is, the avoidance is compounding the anxiety. Every day you don't call, the call becomes slightly more enormous in your head. Your brain is not broken. It learned a very effective short-term strategy. The strategy just has terrible long-term math. Stage 2, the real-time scramble. You finally call, the phone rings, someone picks up, and your opening line, the one you rehearsed in the shower, evaporates completely. You say something. You're not sure what. You are now half listening, half monitoring your own voice for signs of disaster, half mentally replaying what you just said. That's 3 halves, and none of them is fully present on the call. The other person says something. You say, yeah, absolutely, because you heard a rising intonation and your brain interpreted it as a question. You have no idea what you agreed to, what your brain is doing. The working memory is overloaded. It's processing incoming audio without visual support, generating a response, monitoring your social performance, and running background threat assessment, all simultaneously. This is why you feel exhausted after a difficult phone call. It's not the conversation. It's the cognitive load of running 4 processes at once. Your brain is not broken. It's running too many tabs for an interface that wasn't designed for this much ambiguity. Stage 3. The post-call debrief. The call ends. You put the phone down. And then, like a highlight reel from a game you lost, your brain starts replaying it. That pause you had in the middle. The way your voice went slightly higher when they asked the unexpected question. The part where you said, "totally," twice in one sentence. This is called rumination with a negativity bias, and it is extraordinarily common in people with call anxiety. The brain over-indexes on perceived failures because, evolutionarily speaking, social missteps had real consequences. Being seen as incompetent in a tribe wasn't embarrassing, it was dangerous. So your brain is filing the call as a near miss. It's updating its threat model, and next time your phone rings, it will remember, last time this happened, things went sideways. Better be careful. Your brain is not broken. It's overcautious, and there is a meaningful difference. And here's the good news, because there is good news. You can try this. You don't have to. Before your next call, one you've been putting off, take 30 seconds to do what researchers call pre-exposure scripting. Not a full script, just the first sentence. "Hi, I'm calling to schedule an appointment." That's it, just the opener. Written down, said out loud once. Here's why it works biologically. The part of the call your brain fears most is the first moment of real-time exposure, when the call connects and your working memory suddenly has to perform. If you've already said your opener once, your brain has a cached version. It reduces the processing load in the highest anxiety moment of the interaction. The next thing, after the call, write down one thing that went fine. Not a review, not a grade. One neutral fact. I said what I needed to say. They answered my question. It lasted 4 minutes and I survived. This isn't toxic positivity. This is manually updating the threat model. You're giving your brain accurate data to compete with the catastrophic replay it defaults to. You're showing it. The evidence doesn't fully support the danger rating. You can also skip both of these entirely. Sometimes, just understanding the mechanism is enough to take the edge off. Knowledge doesn't cure anxiety, but it does reduce the shame. And shame is what makes it compound. Which brings us to the only thing worth taking with you from this video. Phone anxiety isn't a personality flaw. It isn't evidence that you're socially broken, or secretly introverted, or struggling with something you should have outgrown. It is your brain doing exactly what brains do when they're given an ambiguous social situation with no visual data, no edit button, and real-time stakes. It is protecting you from something it genuinely cannot fully read. You're not afraid of phone calls. You're afraid of performing without a script in a room where you can't see anyone's face. That's not weakness. That's just being human with a very old threat detection system. Final question, and there's no answer in this video. What would you actually say if you weren't also watching yourself say it?